everybody, what's going on? How you guys doing today? And welcome back to another episode of the show. And I treated myself today. As you can see, I brought a little bit of color back to my life in my right hand here. I've gone green again. I think that's the way I'm going to reward myself from here on out, okay? I've been doing a little bit decent with content creation lately. I've been making a good amount of videos, not just on Minecraft, but I did a game called The Finals. I've done some Satisfactory, and then on top of that, I did an episode of The Obsidian Order, all within a week. I think I released like 4 videos, and I'm very proud of myself. So, color me green, I'm coming back, baby. A little bit at a time, don't go crazy. I can still be grayscale for a little bit longer. But that's right, welcome back to another episode of the show. Look what we did last episode. I'm not necessarily a fan of a lot of it, and I think it has to do with the cherry blossoms. I do want to fix the cherry blossoms, starting with this one. What's going on here, guys? What's going on here? No one noticed this last episode? No one wanted to yell at me? Now, that doesn't mean that there's not going to be a cherry blossom tree there. I definitely think it's necessary to throw one up there, but I don't like this part of it. That just looks gross and nasty to me. So I think we're gonna have to custom design our own cherry blossom tree to fit around the ski lift. I mean, one day we're gonna redo the ski lift because that looks a little wonky as of right now. But for now, we gotta work around it. Also, this guy looks a little bit too blocky, and those 90-degree angles aren't really too incredibly fun. This one, I don't hate this one. I think it's a small tree and it fits in this area pretty well. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it looks all right. I think custom trees would do this place a whole lot better. Kind of like my spruce tree biome here, right? Like, could you imagine if these were just spruce trees? I feel like, one, we wouldn't get the elevation that we really wanted here in this biome. And 2, it wouldn't look nearly as good. Now granted, I think I could go back and fix up these trees a little bit more, because I didn't used to play in Fancy, and now I'm playing in Fancy. So now I'm seeing a little bit of issues here and there. But this looks a whole lot better just because there's custom trees. Not what we're doing today, however. Today, we are going to be doing a little bit of work on the Roy G. Biv Boardwalk, but we're not going to be touching the trees. No, today we are going to be making fun stuff. We're going to be funifying the boardwalk, starting with a roller coaster that I really want to do. Boardwalks have roller coasters sometimes, I think. So I'm thinking out of this orange building, I want to have a roller coaster kind of going along the ridge of the ice here and around and then right back into the orange building. I think that would be really cool. Also, one thing that I do want to touch up on as well is when you're going through the cave here, I think it would be cool if some of these buildings popped into the cave and you can kind of watch the race from... Oop, watch out for the hovering chicken. What are you doing? Get back on the track. Like, imagine doing your shopping and whatnot in these shops, and then you look through a window and you see the race going on in the background. I think that would be super cool. So I want to work on that as well. So I think without further ado, let's get into a wee little time lapse where I do some touch-ups and fun stuff. I ended up going with a couple different renditions of the roller coaster. We went with a little bit of crimson wood, but it was too wide, bulky, and gross, and I honestly don't like the contrast between the crimson wood and the rest of my world, so I had to scrap that. Not before doing a different variation where I went with a smaller version of it, but it still didn't work out. So I ended up switching it from crimson wood over to the traditional oak wood, which I think turned out pretty well, but it was missing the roller coaster vibe. So I changed it all up, and this is what we now have. And guys, I gotta say, This is beautiful. It has added so much to my world now. Like, imagine what it looked like before. Now, when we fly in, we have a whole new feel with the Roy G. Biv Boardwalk and the roller coaster. It just looks so freaking cool. And then if I go over here, look at that. Yes. And there are plenty of scenic places to see this thing. Like, if you're watching the race and then you look over here, you can see the roller coaster. I love the way that looks. But more importantly, walking out of my door and seeing this, I added some custom trees, just kind of obscure it a little bit, but it looks so freaking cool here too. And then this view has changed throughout the series. Once upon a time, I could just see the land on the other side of the waterway, on the other side there. Now it's all obscured, but it looks freaking cool. I can't wait until I put some dead coral up along these hills and make it look even better. But guys, this looks... I am so happy with the way it turned out. And though it wasn't necessary to do this, I didn't want it to just look pretty. I wanted it to be functional as well. So eventually I'm going to come up with an automatic dispenser of sorts here. But this is fully functioning now as a roller coaster. Whee! Watch, we go around the loop, we go down one more time, whee! Hands up in the air, we go up, and the biggest drop of the roller coaster right there, up a little bit, and up one more time, and then we go right back into the orange building, which is super cool. I mean, it's not supposed to be like the most exciting experience of all time, but I love it. I love it that it actually works now. On top of the roller coaster, I did a little bit of work on the building's interiors as well. So now it looks a little bit better. Obviously, we're going to have to decorate it with a bunch of stuff. And almost every single building you can see from the track. Like if I go in here, you can see, I see the pink building right here. On the roof, there's actually a viewing platform. And then over here we have the red building, which has a nice little window here. So long story short, if you're doing a little bit of shopping here on the boardwalk, at least you'll be able to see a little bit of the race. As the racers pass by here, you'll be able to catch a glimpse of it. And I think that's just such a cool little addition. And then over here, maybe we could put some benches here so you can see the racers come this way. I like the idea of all throughout my world, there's just little viewing platforms here and there so that you can sit down and watch the race. I like that idea. Since the whole island is basically surrounded by the racetrack, I think that's a good touch. And then look at this! Look at this! Custom cherry blossom tree. I didn't go too crazy and out of the realm of what these actually are. I more just put it on a diagonal because I like that. I think trees should go on a diagonal. This looks a little bit too Minecrafty and boring to me. Though it's a cool tree, I think it's too Minecrafty and boring to me. This, because the branches kind of go diagonal off a bit, and then this on the elevation change, it goes up and diagonal. I think this looks a whole lot better. And it's not as big. It honestly doesn't take up as much area space as that guy, which I think is even cooler. I don't know why. I just like it. I really do. And I think that's a good addition to this little area right here. And the last thing that I spent a whole lot of time on was this guy right here. We now have a new entrance into the Roy G. Biv Boardwalk, and it's through the underground ravine. Obviously, I'm going to have to change some things up. Like, I don't like this section. I might have to put some ice in here and whatnot and make that look a little bit better. Kind of like, I don't know. That's a little bit of work I'll do later. But as you keep on going down this way, I want to have like waterfalls and cool things along the walls here. But now we're in our ravine, which I need to start working on soon. Making a whole little bazaar area down here, I think would be a really cool thing and a cool addition into our world here. It's one thing that I haven't touched yet, and I'm kind of scared to do it. But now there's 2 functioning entrances into the boardwalk, which is super freaking cool, man. Now, the last thing that I want to do today, because I've already done so much, and honestly, I just want to release this video just with the roller coaster as like the main meat of the sandwich here. I really want to do a little bit of decorating work before we get going. And I'm probably just going to finish off one building, but you can see there's a big difference between my house here, which doesn't have a whole lot of detail, but you can see with all the wood slabs, the stairs, the fence posts, the lamps, and this building right here, which looks super duper boring. So what I want to do is I want to go in, I want to put some windows in, I want to put some more of these slabs and whatnot in here, and kind of make these buildings look a little bit more lively, because right now they're kind of just plain Jane, but once they have windows in them, I feel like they're gonna look super cool. I think that's gonna add a whole lot of life to this boardwalk. So without further ado, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started on that and see where the moment takes me. And the moment actually took us to a wonderful place. Look at this. The world looks so much better just by adding a window or two here and there. Now, we did more than just one building because I got into the swing of things. I had all the items in my inventory, and I was like, you know what? Let's just knock out as many buildings as we possibly can. And I pretty much did them all minus the purple building, which needs a little bit more work. But I'm excited about this. We left some spaces for billboards and maybe like a clock tower. I don't know if that's enough room for a clock, but this is really an awesome start. Now, obviously, more details, right? More and more details, and this thing is going to look beautiful, as well as actual functional interiors. Because right now, everything is kind of bland. There's nothing in here. Eventually, these are all going to be vibrant buildings with you know, actual things to do in them instead of this just boring old open area here with no glass on the wall here. There's going to be things that we do down the line, but for now, I think we're going to take a break and move on to some other projects that I've had in mind and I've been wanting to do for such a long time. And I'm not going to tell you what they are. You're going to have to just show up next episode. But I love you guys to death. I will see you guys in the next episode. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We're trying to make it to 500 by the end of the year, which is not necessarily a long shot, but it's a goal. It's a goal. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.